Hello, Hofstra fans, and welcome to the WB Mason Coach Report with Associate Head Coach Hava Davis. Hava, how are you today?
Doing well, feeling rested, and got our energy back after a weekend off.
Yeah, you already touched on my first point. You don't often get these breaks and schedules in the middle of a year, but you guys will once you play on Saturday, will have not played for almost 2 weeks, 13 days. How important was this break for you guys?
I think it was super important because we have a number of just nagging injuries that happens throughout a season to any team. And with our first travel weekend being on an airplane, that kind of wears on you a little bit. And then it's also allowing time for our head coach, Emily, to rest and recover and get back to us from her pregnancy and her birth.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of touched on all the points there. How did you guys kind of manage this break? Did you use it almost like a preseason training camp at the start, or is that kind of how you viewed it to start the break?
Yeah, we kind of went into it thinking, we're going to push hard to work on some of the things that we've been struggling with, but also to allow the athletes the time to rest their bodies a little bit. And so it was a little bit of a balance of pushing hard in practice, but giving them a little bit more free time in their off time, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And although you went into the break having lost those 2 matches in Charleston, before that you guys were rather hot. You had won 4 out of 5. How do you balance, taking the positives of that stretch right before the Charleston trip against the Charleston trip?
Yeah, the Charleston trip was obviously disappointing and frustrating. We felt like we had a good game plan. We felt like we had a good week of practice leading into the match. And, we've said this a lot. And I hate to use it because it's not an excuse, but it shows the youth and the immaturity of our team, that we feel like as a team, we went down there prepared to play, and then for whatever reason, just kind of got derailed and didn't perform as well as we felt we should have. So, Emily has said it from the beginning of the season. We have so many young players starting and playing really significant roles that this season is about growth. And so we just have to kind of take the broad picture of, hey, we did lose 2 in a row, but we've been trending up. We've been playing some really good volleyball and doing some really nice stuff, and continue to believe that that's the direction we're headed.
This weekend, you're headed home. Finally, you guys get to play UNC Wilmington this weekend for a pair of matches. Is this weekend about growth? Is this weekend about conference tournament positioning, or really a combination of a lot of things?
I think it's both. I think, if you look at the schedule and the way it lines up, we can finish anywhere from 8th in conference at the end of the regular season to 2nd or even 1st if we win out. This season is pretty unprecedented in my experience with the CAA, in that there is really a lot of parity. We only have one team that doesn't have a win in the conference, with William and Mary, and they're very good. UNCW has 2 wins, but they're against 2 of the top 3 teams. And so, they're the 8th and 9th place. We're sitting in 7th right now. We do well in the next 3 weekends between Elon, JMU, and UNCW. We could be right there in 2nd or even 1st, depending on how everything plays out. So we're looking at it as positioning for the conference tournament, but also continuing to grow. We don't want to just go and say, hey, we want to play, however it takes to win. We want to play a certain way, and we want the players to develop their system and continue to grow as a group.
And Hava, what's the keys to victory this weekend against the Seahawks at home?
We feel like we have to continue winning the serve and pass game. We know they're a very scrappy team, and that's not an insult. It's just a term that's used in volleyball a lot, as you know, that just they don't let balls hit the floor. They just play really hard, and they don't stop playing hard. And so we need to put pressure on them serving tough. We need to pass so we can run our offense, and continue for our block to be somewhat of a force at the net that allows our defense and transition game to develop.
And Hofstra will host UNC Wilmington Saturday at 1, Sunday at 1, both matches on Flow Volleyball. Hava, good luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you, Stephen. Have a great week.
And Hofstra fans, thank you for joining us on the W. Mason Coach Report with Hofstra Associate Head Coach Hava Davis.